friends, Jerry Rosa here in the Rosa String Works workshop. Today is March 10th, 2022. I'm going to start an experiment here on the channel. So things may change or they may not change. This is an experiment. I'm going to try to put out a 10 or 15 minute video, perhaps daily, at least maybe every other day, something like that. I don't know if that's going to be sustainable or not. The reason for the change is just simply these. I am not able to work a whole day here in the shop with my hands anymore. Can manage to work, an hour or something like that. And I'm going to be more selective in the future on jobs that I take. Anyway, I thought we'd give this a try. This will be the first in the new blogged style videos. I hope you enjoy them. And we're going to start it with a doozy. Take a look at this. Yeah, it's a doozy. Look at this thing. It's an acoustic bass. And you think, well, what do you got to do to that? Oh, not much. Look at the big crack here in the front, the big crack around the side here, and believe it or not, this thing's brand new. It's never been played. Oh my gosh. Now when it walked in the door and I started looking through the hole, I said to the guy, I really think you ought to just buy you a new guitar. He drove a long way to bring this, so he wasn't real happy with that idea. He wants it fixed. And I explained to him, I said, it's going to cost a lot of money to fix this. I said, are you sure you can't just go buy another one for that kind of money? I believe this belongs to a doctor. I think he's down in the Arkansas area. This has been almost a month ago, and me and water under the bridge. So I'm thinking I'm telling the right story on the right instrument, that is, because other instruments have come in too. So anyway, the way I understand it, he ordered this, and when it arrived, it was brand new, and when it arrived, it looked like this. So it got damaged significantly in shipping because it was brand new. Anyway, apparently he was able to settle up insurance-wise, and he's got his money back out of it, so he just wants it fixed now. Why pick on me? That's what I asked him. I said, you just don't like me, do you? Oh my gosh. This is the first moment I've picked it up to look at it since he dropped it off almost a month ago. And I mean, this is the first moment. I'm not faking you out here on video or something like that. I haven't looked at it. I mean, other than the day he was here, I looked at it pretty good. I know that there are braces that are broken loose on the inside. It's pretty bad when you can reach through the hole that's broken. I mean, I know there's braces broken loose. I don't know. I think this bridge is popped loose. I don't know where to start on this. I really don't. I don't say those things just for dramatic effect. I mean, I just don't know where to start because, the thing about this is if you glue up the wrong thing first, then you're going to go, uh-oh, I wish I'd have glued that up, later, because if you get something glued up that you can't take apart, and it affects something else. It's the order of operations is what I'm saying. I think I'm going to turn the camera off for a second or two and assess this thing a little bit better and see if I can't make a little progress for you here on this first blog. Well, my friends, it's down to the basics here. I always say you have to be smarter than the thing you're working on. I'm not sure I am right now because I've loosened all the strings, as you can see. And I'll be darned if I can get them out of here. I'm sure they're supposed to come out of there. But honestly, if they're supposed to, I don't know how. I guess you just gotta pull them out of there. They're really tight. Oh well. Just one more thing to hurt my hands here. Hurt my hands before I even get started good. Guess I'll go to the tools and see if I can, these are plastic jawed pliers in case you're wondering. And boy, I mean, like seriously, this is tight. Yeah, that doesn't help anything. We're not getting started off on a real good note here when you can't even get the strings off of an instrument. That's step one. Incidentally, when an instrument comes in a case and a bag, you know you got a problem. Well, I'm doing my best to show you. The second brace that you can see back through this hole, the one back over there, is broke loose from the bridge plate and bridge area. And it's standing up, oh, I'm going to say a full 1/8 inch off of the top there. So I think that's going to be my very first thing to attack, is to try to stabilize this general area right here and get that back to where it used to be. In order to reach this brace, I need a really long reach clamp. Now this is an old handmade thing I made years ago, and it actually reaches it, but just barely. Like the brace is about right here on the front of the clamp. Well, that's not going to work, so I'm going to have to cut some more of this out so I can slide this in further. Now, that's going to weaken this, and this is already weak anyway by the design because it's going to want to split this wood here. So what I'm going to try to do is, after I, get this in place, is I'm going to put an extra clamp on this, I think. In fact, I might, I made this nice and round and it's pretty, but what I might do is I might actually cut a little step in here so it's flat where I can clamp right on the end of this to keep it from splitting. So that's about the only way I'm going to be able to reach it. I don't have any other long reach clamps that are going to be strong enough to get in there. I mean, I've got some C-clamp things that I could use wedges on, but this would be a better option in this case, I think. Well, I'm going to have to get glue down on that brace, and this long-handled paintbrush is just long enough to let me get in there and do that. It's a little big on the head. I wish it was a little smaller, but I need a lot of glue in there anyway, so let's just see how this works. This is a pretty big crack. It's not real hard to get the glue in there. I do think this is probably the best first place to start. Start in the middle and work my way out, I think, is what my overall goal is here. And this thing is going to need a lot of TLC. Oh my gosh. Trying to get the light where I can see what I'm doing. Fortunately, the brace seems to be stuck on both ends. It's just the middle has popped up for which seems kind of strange. You wouldn't think just the middle of a brace would pop up. I'm not sure how this thing got hit, but it must have been a doozy. I'm just gonna try to flood it with glue because it's like I said, a pretty big opening, and I figure I got one good chance at this, and if the glue runs everywhere, I'll clean up what I can of it. Sorry you can't see what I'm doing here, but I'm just daubing glue down in a big crack between the top and the brace. Wow. All right, let's see what that did for me, if anything. And I honestly don't know if it did anything, and that's the truth. You don't know till you know, as I say. Right where I need to clamp it, there's the end of the bridge is right there on that spot. Boy, it's just, there's nothing going to be easy about any of this. It's one of those deals where if I had 3 hands, this wouldn't be that hard. But the last time I counted, I've only got 2. I mean, like, it couldn't be in a worse place. It just couldn't. It's right on the seam of the bridge and the top. All right, before I put too much pressure on this clamp, I'm going to get me another clamp and put on here because I just feel like I'm going to break something if I don't. Might break something anyway. Well, I believe in being honest, and that clamp is not working at all. I thought it was going to. It looked like it was going to push it together, no problem. But it's not pushing it together at all. I don't know why it's not. I'm going to keep tightening and see what breaks first, if it's the clamp or the guitar. My God. Yep, the clamp broke. Yep, I knew it. It's not even closing that crack up even a little bit. The crack is probably that tall, and it didn't even close it at all. Wow. Wow. That's all I got to say about that. Well, my friends, that wasn't pretty. I'm going to try a different technique, and I've got plywood here and some wedges, and wedges are very strong. I just don't know how strong the plywood is. Got to be stronger than the maple. I'm going to look in here and see if it's closed, and that would be a negative. Does it look like it's closed a little bit? Maybe, maybe. I'm pushing a wedge in from the opposite side here. That is in there tight now, folks. Wedges are tough. You'd be surprised the force of a wedge. Wow. I would say it's closed it a little bit, but wow. Wow. I mean, like, I've never put this much force on anything I've ever clamped on an instrument, ever. Never. I mean, I am putting some mega force on this. I don't think there's anything holding it up. It's just, I think there was tension in this area when this thing was made, because this is a bowed top, and it don't want to go back down. Oh my gosh. Can I get in here and clamp all of this together? I don't know. I don't know of a way to do that. The only thing I got right at the moment is more wedges. Forcing the wedges in tighter and tighter. It's gone back together a little bit. Kind of behind the bridge here. It's kind of going back together. But this particular brace goes over the bridge plate. There was a cutout on the bridge plate, and over that bridge plate area, it is not going back to the part there. It is not making contact at all. I'd say it's still a 1/16 of an inch from making contact, if not more. And I do not think that more wedges is going to help. I'm going to go ahead and put a wedge right here, even though it's probably going to mar up his bridge. You know, you kind of have to do what you have to do. I can always sand the bridge. It's twisting the wood. That didn't help. Doggone it. No harm, no foul so far. Oh my gosh, I've never seen anything like this. I don't know how to make that work again. I think I'm probably going to have to just cut my losses and glue it back here, because that was glued up solid up to about right here, and then where the bridge plate is, it wasn't touching, and I may just have to shim that later and glue shims in there later. I seriously don't know what else to do about that, because that was some significant pressure. I'm going to try it again. I really don't know what else to do.
And I do not want to take this whole thing apart. I mean, it's already tough enough as it is. Taking it apart just would add to the misery. It couldn't be in a worse spot, I don't think, because of the way this bridge is messing up everything here. You really don't understand how tight a wedge can be. They're really tight. That's got it pushed as close together as it's going to go, I think. I think I'll just have to cut my losses and fill in the gap there and call it good enough. Because I don't think there's any other option here in this case other than take the whole thing apart, and I'm not willing to do that. It's another one of those instances where something was built odd about this. I don't know why they built it the way they built it. They had their ideas, I guess. But I'm going to try to clean up the glue as much as I can where that gap is so that I can fill it in with something else later. I'm pretty positive it used to be glued to that because I could see where it had pulled up the fibers. But it sure won't go back to it now. And honestly, these wedges, some of you may be skeptical about wedges, but I can tell you right now, you can move a whole house with a wedge. Ask me how I know that. I've done it. Jacked up houses and driven wedges in there and lifted houses. And yeah, a wedge is incredibly strong. You can make a tree fall opposite direction with a wedge. Wedges are crazy strong, and I'm telling you right now, I have those things forced in there so hard, you just honestly can't imagine the pressure I have on this top right now. Can't put them in any tighter. Well, I've got it cleaned up as good as it can be cleaned up. I'll probably let that set at least 24 hours, and we'll see what we ended up with. Well, my friends, it may not be that great of a start to this daily blog thing. Holy mackerel! I don't believe I've ever put that much pressure on anything on an instrument and not have it give or do something. It's not doing anything. It just, I mean, it went down, you know, just the little part behind it went back together. But it didn't go back together over that bridge plate where it used to be together. You could pretty much tell it was glued there. Yeah, it was glued there. There's no doubt. Stay tuned. More on this coming up very soon. Please give us a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. I was watching The Outdoors with the Morgans, and he said a lot of his people watch all of his videos and never subscribe. It gives me incentive to keep making these videos when I see the channel growing. If the channel is stagnant and it's not growing, why do I even care about making these videos? Help me help you. Click the subscribe button. It doesn't cost you a thing. It won't cause any problems for you. You won't get any weird emails just because you click on a subscribe. Thank you so much.